take any solids, so if you select any solid, when you say it is periodic, what does it mean? That, say for example, if you take one direction, sodium chloride is a very well known crystal, right? For example, we'll take sodium chloride over here. So sodium chloride, if you take one sodium chloride atom, how the atoms and molecules are arranged, that one sodium atom is there, then one chlorine, sodium, chlorine. So if you go in one direction, you will find that the atoms and molecules are arranged systematically, sodium, chlorine, and the distance between those two atoms is also periodic. Now if you select any other solid, any other material, if you select, you will find that in one direction they may be, for example, it is 3 angstrom. So it is periodic in that direction, that every 3 angstrom you will find one atom. If you move in y direction, at every, you can say 5 angstrom, I'm simply giving you one example, that at every 5 angstrom you will find one more atom. In z direction if you move, so at every 7 angstrom you will find one more atom. So periodicity is there, so that at 3, 5 and 7 angstrom in x, y and z axis respectively, you will find one atom. That is its structure. So if you keep on moving at unit distances, right, in those 3 directions respectively, you will find a, you can say, one particular atom over there, or a particular atom at that point. Because of that fixed position, it is having different properties. So that is the reason behind the anisotropy of crystalline solid, that every direction is having different atomic position. If you are it is not cubic, say for example, if it is not cubic, you will have different arrangement of atoms in different direction, and which will lead to its anisotropy. Many researchers are working on anisotropy, because that will lead to different properties in different direction, and that will lead to their different application as well. Third point, that crystalline solids are having very sharp melting point. Sharp melting point, which means it is not, you can say, transferred over a range. Say for example, 500 degrees centigrade is a melting point of any particular solid. It will melt, it will start melting, or it will start changing its phase from 500 degrees centigrade only. But if you are having a polycrystalline solid, or rather than polycrystalline, I will use the word non-crystalline or amorphous solid is there, they will melt over a range. So you can say that it will start melting, it will start changing its phase from 490 degree to 510 degree, right? So it will completely change this, or completely convert its phase from solid to liquid from 490 to 510, which is not the case in crystalline solid. It will definitely start changing its phase from 500 degrees centigrade only. So that is also crucial as far as phase diagram is concerned and the property of any solid is concerned. Crystallography. Right. What is crystallography? That is the branch which deals with, you can say, different structures, different properties of solids. In your picture, on your screen, you can see different external shapes of crystal. And crystal is a very, very beautiful word, because every solid is having different properties, whatever their external appearance is, right, whatever their external color is, but they will exhibit different properties. So you can see different naturally available crystals on your screen. Crystal lattice. If you want to learn crystal physics, there are certain fundamentals. So mathematics and crystal physics goes hand by hand. If you want to learn the atomic arrangement of atoms, that means inside the solid, if you want to learn how atoms are arranged, you have to, you can say, convert those atoms and molecule into mathematical model. And this lattice word is a mathematical model. It is actually a mathematical concept, right, which will lead us to, or you can say, which will lead us to know what is exactly the orientation of atoms and molecules inside the solid. You can see on the screen, on the rightmost screen photograph, you can see that one cube is drawn over there. So around the position of atoms and molecule, we are assuming one shape. So in actual crystal, you will not find this lattice over there. But in order to learn the different shapes, what we are doing is that we are assuming different points at the site of atom. So those assumption of different sides or assumption of different points inside the solid is considered as lattice. Lattice basically a two-dimensional idea. If you convert that two-dimensional idea into three dimension, it will considered as crystal lattice or space lattice. Now how it is basically, you can say it is a skeleton of a crystal. Whenever you are selecting any atoms or molecules, you will find that they are arranged in a particular manner. So if we are selecting different points, now how those points are selected or how those points are arranged, that each point or each particular corner or each particular point is having same kind of surrounding. So if each point is having same kind of surrounding, you can say you are having space lattice. How the points are arranged, you can see that infinite array of points, each point is having identical surrounding. If you select point A, let's say for example point A in this particular graph, in particular picture, if you select point A, so point C and one point below it, say for example let's say point O. So if you go in one direction, in X direction, you will find that at same distance there is one point A is there. If you go in Y direction, you will find that another point is there. So each corner, if you select any corner out of this, that means the point shown on your figure on the screen, each point is having same kind of surrounding. That is basically the concept of crystal lattice, that the periodicity should be there, and periodicity in which way, that each atom is having same kind of surrounding. Now how crystal structure is formed? Now crystal structure can be formed by two different points. One, you should have the crystal lattices, which means an empty box, right? You are having one skeleton, now you want to add different species into that. What kind of species? Different groups of atoms and molecules. So when you add different kind of bases or motif, which is nothing but different atoms and molecules, the group of atoms and molecules, when you add those groups of atoms and molecules in those crystal lattices, it will lead to entire crystal structure. So if we sum up everything, right, whatever we have discussed so far, if you start with a space lattice, which is a three-dimensional arrangement of points, you add bases inside that or different kinds of atoms and molecules inside that, it will lead to a crystal structure, right, which we all are looking for. Now when you say that you want to learn crystallography, you need not to find out the characteristic of each and every solid or each and every atom involved over there. For that we have minimized that idea up to unit cell. So on the screen you can see one yellow box over there, which is a unit cell. If you look at the geometry of atoms and molecules arranged over here, that the atoms and molecules, the red dots and green dots are chlorine atom and sodium atoms. So they are arranged in a very regular manner. Out of that regular manner, we have selected the smallest shape. So that cube, that smallest shape, is having all the properties of a crystal. See, this is very important. Rather than looking for the characteristic of entire solid, it is better to go for a minimum part which is having all the properties of a solid. If you know the properties of the smallest geometrical shape, if you keep on extending that idea throughout the crystal, right, you will have the entire characteristic. And that is the reason behind the concept of unit cell. I repeat, in the definition form we can say that unit cell is the smallest geometrical shape which is having all the property of a solid, right? And if you extend or if you repeat that smallest geometrical shape throughout the crystal, it will lead to entire crystal. So unit cell is a building block, right? You can say it is a building block of any particular crystalline material. Unit cell we have already discussed. Now how can we define different unit cells? So if I ask you that what is the shape of your room, the room in which you are sitting, you will definitely say that you can find out the shape of that room based on what are their three axes, right? In terms of room, we will say that what is its length, breadth and height. Same way, we are having one smallest geometrical shape. If we find out its length, breadth and height, we can find out what is its volume. But the moment you say that you want to find out its volume, the angle between those three axes is also important. So if you select any unit cell in x direction, y direction and z direction, the unit distance is considered as a, b and c. I repeat, this is not merely the notation given, right? When you move in x direction, the distance between two same kind of atom is considered as a. If you go unit distance in y direction in given unit cell, the distance between two atoms, two same kind of atom, will be b, and along z direction it will be c. See, I repeat, this is not merely the notation given. So say for example, I cannot put p, q and r over there, or capital X, capital Y, Z over there. You need to select a, b and c, because that will define what is the distance between two atoms in given direction. Why the direction is important? Because anisotropy, crystalline solids are anisotropic in nature. Their properties are different in different direction. That's why a, b and c, which will justify which direction you are talking about. The moment you are talking about the axis or direction x, y and z, the angle between them. So angle between a and b is gamma angle, is angle gamma. Angle between b and c axis, that is between y and between a and c, which is your x and z axis, is beta, and angle between y and z axis is considered as alpha. Once again, this alpha, beta and gamma are considered as you can say the angles between those three axes. They are also part of unit cell. So unit cell can be defined, any given unit cell which is the smallest geometrical shape can be defined by 6 parameters. This 6 parameter will actually define what is the given crystal. ABC and alpha, beta, gamma. Primitive cell. Now we are going deeper inside the solid, right? You are having one unit cell. Now how to define unit cell? We have already discussed that. Primitive cell is the kind of unit cell which contains one lattice point per unit cell. You can see this particular figure over here, that there are atoms located at the corners. So 8 corners are there. In around those 8 corners we have assumed one shape. Now if you look at any solid, you will not find that there are only 8 atoms or there is only one unit cell. There will be n number of atoms and molecules, and n number of unit cells will be there. So if you select any one cell out of it, now let us see how each atoms of that particular unit cell is contributing to that particular crystal. If you select any one corner, right, one corner is contributing to 8 different unit cells. So because of that, the initial or effective contribution of that atom to given unit cell will be 1 by 8, because it is shared by 8 different unit cells. So there are 8 different atoms and molecules, different atoms are there, and their contribution, effective contribution to one unit cell is 1 by 8. So if you put it into context, 8 into 1 by 8 will be 1. So effective number of atoms in given unit cell, in this particular unit cell, is 1 only, which is considered as primitive cell. If you add different atoms over here, right, if you put different atoms in this particular you can say cube, it will lead to more number of atoms. Then we can say that we are talking about non-primitive cell. Primitive cell is a basic cell. Basically you can start from primitive cell only. You cannot have unit cell without the corner atoms, right? So primitive cell is a primary cell or basic cell. Without that a unit cell is not possible. We can have different non-primitive cells as well. Based on lattice parameters ABC and alpha, beta, gamma, we can classify the crystals into 7 shapes. So in nature there are a lot of thousands of shapes available, but out of those shapes, solids can classify or solid can crystallize in 7 particular shape only. You cannot have more than 7 shapes here, right? So that is fixed, that crystal can be classified or crystal can be crystallized in 7 particular shapes only, and corresponds to those 7 shapes there are 14 Bravais lattices as well. Let us start with the first and the most symmetric shape, which is cubic. Cubic crystal, if you I have written it as its unit cell shape, which means that its axial lengths A, B and C are same, and the angle between them alpha, beta and gamma are 90. So when axial lengths x, y and z axis are same and angle between them alpha, beta, gamma is exactly 90, you can consider that particular shape as cubic. So you can see the figure over here that A, B, C are same. That's why I have put them as A only. All dimensions are same. This is what your cubic shape is. It is having the highest symmetry. The second shape. See, now what we are doing is we are changing. We are putting little asymmetry over here. In the previous case, A, B and C were same. Now we are looking for another shape where A and B, that means distance along x and y axis are same, but along z direction the distance is not similar to A and B. Otherwise alpha, beta and gamma are same, they are 90 exactly, they are right angle, and A and B are also same. The simple thing, the one change is that their axial length along z direction is not similar. So this is the shape, right? A and B are same along z direction, so it is having more height, you can say. Third one, the orthorhombic shape. The orthorhombic shape, what is the difference? That A, B and C, all axial lengths are different, right? All of them are having different values. In the beginning of this particular you can say classification, I have given one example that say for example in A direction you are having distance between two atoms is 3 angstrom, along y direction it is 5 angstrom, and along z direction it is 7 angstrom. You can say it is an example of orthorhombic crystal because A, B and C, all of them are different. The angle between them is exactly 90 degree. Rhombohedral shape, the fourth one. Now see, over here axial lengths are same, the angle is changed. Angle is also similar, but it is not equal to 90. So this is what your rhombohedral shape is, that A, B and C are same, the angle between them is also same, but it is not exactly equal to 90 degree. So that is